What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, want to talk about Summer Game Fest 2022, specifically this opening day kickoff live stream. Obviously, when I make these predictions, when I talk about what I'm excited for and all that stuff, I'm specifically talking about this event, hour and a half to 2 hours long later today. Now, I will be co-streaming it. If you guys want to come back in just a few hours, I'm going to go live 1 hour before the event starts, and we're going to go through the entire event. I cannot wait. I am, if you can tell by my voice, very, very excited. We had an awesome group that watched the State of Play last week. I'm hoping for an even bigger group this week, so hopefully I see you guys there. I really think this can be a good show, and I'll tell you why, and we'll explain throughout the video. Jeff Keighley came out a few days ago. We talked about it in the video, and he tried to level expectations. He said a lot of the stuff we're going to see is on games we already know about. They do have surprises, and there are going to be brand new games announced. Okay, there are going to be those things, but not a lot of them, and less than you would get at, say, a Game Awards. But what we are going to get is stuff from games that we do know of. Now, that maybe to some people is disappointing, but to me, it's like, well, you know what? We have a lot of games that we know exist, but we don't know anything. We know some things about them. Maybe we know nothing at all. There's a lot of games that fit that category. God of War Ragnarok, that game's real and we know about it, but it doesn't have a release date, and I think that's a pretty solid possibility for today's show. Marvel's Midnight Suns, he confirmed that's going to happen. They came out, they showed a bunch on it, and then they went quiet. We don't have a release date. There's a rumored release date, October 6th, I believe. It was a leak a few days ago. That's probably correct, but we're gonna see that at the show. Go down the list. Gotham Knights. Now, really, the list to me extends far beyond even just those things that immediately pop in your head. I was talking to my friend the other day, and I thought, hey, Bayonetta 3 is one that's supposed to come out this year. We know about it. Would Nintendo give Jeff Keighley Bayonetta 3 to do something with at the show? Maybe, maybe not. He was kind of a little... He didn't really sound like Nintendo was going to be part of the show, but who knows? You know what I mean? So, that's a possibility. Maybe a game like Outlast Trials. There's a lot of games, again, that fall into that. Again, you have to think about them a little bit more, but I really think the possibilities are quite high for what he can do at this show. So, yeah, in terms of my expectations, in terms of my predictions, again, those are kind of them. I do expect to see a lot of games we already know about, but I would say God of War Ragnarok definitely is one prediction I'd like to, a bold prediction to kind of make. In terms of like brand new stuff, I think The Last of Us remake most likely is one of those kind of like bombshell, announcements. And again, God of War could be considered a kind of a bombshell announcement as well. What I found interesting, I want to spend a little time in this video talking about it. He had the Sizzle reel and the trailer, for Summer Game Fest. And I talked about this before. What I find very odd about it is normally it's a lot of games and most games don't show up. But this year, every game he's shown has, firstly, every game he showed in that Sizzle reel, there was a lot of the game that he showed. He really didn't even show that many games. And the games he showed, a lot of them are going. Gotham Knights was in that Sizzle reel. It's confirmed. Midnight Suns, it's confirmed. Modern Warfare, all these games are confirmed. There were two others that he had in the Sizzle reel that nothing has come of yet. Horizon and Elden Ring. For some reason, those were both in there. Now, honestly, at this point, I'm willing to bet and predict in this way, one of the two, at least, is going to get some sort of DLC. An announcement at the show. Maybe even both. I would not be surprised, actually, if both of them got DLC, but that's what I truly believe that. So, because it just is too weird. Every other game he's shown at that Sizzle reel is confirmed to go, except for a couple of them. Horizon and Elden Ring are two of them. Things, by the way, that I don't think are going to be there. I know there's obviously been the talk of like a Hogwarts Legacy. I don't think Hogwarts is going to show up simply for the fact, you can think of actually a couple different ways. Number one, if I'm right and the predictions are right, God of War would be there. The Last of Us remake would be there. And a Horizon DLC would be. That's a lot of Sony. So to continue, Hogwarts is not Sony exclusive, but Sony owns the marketing rights to it. So that's something you have to, obviously think of. And I just don't really see that fitting in. I think we'll see Hogwarts later on, probably in like September. Another thing is, again, I mentioned Nintendo. Nintendo things seem rather unlikely. Xbox Bethesda things, and I've said this before, but obviously for this, predictions video, the thing with Xbox Bethesda that Jeff said himself, and I actually had predicted he would say something like this, Xbox Bethesda, he said, is going to keep a lot of the big stuff to themselves. Like, don't expect the kind of huge things from them to be at the show, because they would probably do it themselves literally 3 days later at their own show this upcoming Sunday, which, by the way, I'll be co-streaming that as well. And that makes sense. To me, my prediction has always been maybe something like, and I'm just throwing like a Redfall or a Starfield or, whatever it happens to be. Something could get announced at Summer Game Fest or shown, and it's small. And then Jeff Keighley says, you can tune in to the Xbox Bethesda show on Sunday to see more. And that's happened at E3 before, multiple times. Different companies have done that at E3, so I wouldn't be shocked. So really, third-party games. EA teased a few days ago that they're going to be at one of the two of either Xbox or maybe even both, which would be cool. Dragon Age Dreadwolf is probably one that I would imagine, again, maybe a bold prediction. That makes sense. Jeff Keighley has shown a lot of behind-the-scenes Dragon Age stuff, so I would not be surprised if that happens. I think Dragon Age makes a ton of sense, but maybe they're talking about Madden being on Game Pass, so maybe they're talking about Xbox Bethesda. Either way, all right, to kind of wrap it up, I very much am very excited for this show. Again, I think the potential is pretty high, and even if it's a lot of what we already know, again, I'm very excited for a lot of games that currently are known that maybe don't have a release date or haven't really shown. A Plague Tale, right? The second game. That game is supposed to come out rather soon, and we haven't really seen anything from it. I think that one could honestly be something. So, you can just keep coming up with examples of games that are moderately exciting just on their own and that don't have really much to go with them, and obviously Jeff can step in and fill the void. So, hopefully it's a good show. Last year's, and I kind of went back and watched parts of last year. I watched my co-stream of last year's. Very uneven. There were some really good moments, and there were some of the most boring moments in any Jeff Keighley show. So he has always kind of been very up and down. I think the Game Awards this past Game Awards was maybe his best show he's ever done. I think Gamescom this past year was the best Gamescom he's ever done. So I do think he's getting better, but I do remember last year's, Game Fest being very up and down. Started hot, then there was like a 30-minute segment where it was just nothing that interested me whatsoever. And so hopefully, that can be avoided this year, but we'll see. Again, I'll be co-streaming it in just a few hours, 1 hour before the show starts, and then we'll go from there. Let me know what you think. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turn on so you know when these videos go up. I'm going to post it on Twitter, so if you want to follow me there, the link is in the description for Twitter and everything else. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you all in a few hours.